theme song for the Gear Podcast. For the last time of 2023. Uncle Leon, it's you, it's me, it's the two of us. Here once again.
It's just the two of us.
You and I. Cheers, Uncle Leon. Cheers to anybody drinking a coffee, drinking a cup of tea on it's a Friday morning for us. Hey, go on, buddy.
It's the last Friday before Christmas. It's a good time. It's
sure
that
is.
most wonderful time of the year when the jingle bells rock and the jingle horse neighs.
Yep.
And whatever else Bobby Helms sang about. I'm in the swing of it now. Done my last gig for the year, and I've just spent the last week pottering around the house, not knowing what to do with myself. What about you, mate? It's got a nice big prime rib ready to rock.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was telling Leon before we came on, I spent a lot of money on a prime rib, a standing rib roast, 4-bone. Oh my God. It's Christmas Day it's going to be a treat. I'm going to chuck that on about maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30, get him all ready to go, probably take maybe 3 hours-ish, and then chuck him in the esky to go to lunch with my family. So that's going to be pretty great. I don't know if I told you this, but one of my clients rocked up the other day and just gave me about 2 kilos of brisket for no reason.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love meat as a gift.
Great.
That's a great gift.
Now,
when someone's like, you want some meat? Here you go.
It was they slice it in an interesting way. So imagine this is the brisket, like the shape.
So it was a cooked brisket.
No, like uncooked brisket.
I see what you're getting at. So tell me.
Yeah, sliced like this way, so across, like do. And I just got a chunk of the big fatty as well, so that's pretty exciting.
Hell yeah.
But I haven't really cooked like that, like just exclusively that part of the brisket before, but I might do that next week. I was really hoping that I would just buy, this is in my head, this is what was going to happen. I was going to buy a bunch of briskets, maybe like 3, and cook them over the course of maybe 2 days. You know, just chuck one guy in there. When he's done, he goes and rests, put the next one in, and so on and so forth.
Nice. And
just give them out to some people that I think deserve to have a brisket for, just to say thank you very much. You know what I mean? So
brisket is a gift.
Yeah, so I plan to do that. But this week has been really busy. It's a race to the finish, trying to get through a couple of songs. I was telling you yesterday, I did drums for something on Sunday night, and then guitars and stuff on Wednesday, and I think it's pretty close to being done. So that'll be nice. I still have a little bit of work left to do. After we do this, I've got a couple of things today, and then I've got a gig tomorrow evening, and then that's it, mate. I'm done for. Well, actually, I'm only done till next week because I've got a gig next Friday. But I'm going to try and take time off from the studio between Christmas and New Year's, and then slowly go back in early Jan, and then I don't really start a session until I think the 12th or 11th or 12th or something. So, yeah, man, it'll be good. I just need to have some time with the family, hang out, cook some meat, watch some TV.
Have a Christmas Eve meal.
You're going to come around?
Yeah, damn right.
So yeah, Leon's come to I was thinking about this. I was telling Amy. So I think since Elspeth moved to Australia in 2014, I reckon 2014 I had a gig on Christmas Eve, so you didn't come around.
Yep.
But barring maybe you going to America, were you in America for a Christmas at one point?
There was.
Yeah,
2016.
I reckon every other Christmas you've come to my place on Christmas Eve. Since then, for the last 10 years.
It's a great time.
Great time. We've cooked some meat. We've we've eaten. Well, I don't know what we're going to do this year.
I got some stuff to bring around.
Do you?
It should be awesome.
Should we cook?
Well, it should be above average.
Yeah, I mean, like we should talk about this off the podcast, but it's also,
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
I want to know from all the listeners and the viewers what they're doing for Christmas and how they choose to celebrate the most wonderful time of the year
that you celebrate. It's just really nice. I reckon it would have been about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when I went through like my angsty teen, I hate Christmas, I hate holidays, da-da-da. I got over that, and I was like, you know what? Like, there was a year in particular, it might have been 2014, where everybody that I I just got to see within the space of about 3 weeks right before Christmas. It was so nice, catching up with friends and family, and it was great. And now I really appreciate this time of year, and with the kids as well, it's really great. So, man, I'm big into Christmas now. Big fan, huge fan.
Huge.
And it's a bloody ripping time. I don't normally talk like that in real life, but that's what we do on the podcast. So ripping, ripper dipper, etc. So yeah, with that being said, Uncle Leon, I said to you this morning, mate, well, go on. What?
Before you do that, before we segue into the topic of the episode, the last episode, Gear of the Year 2023.
Oh, yes.
I did just want to pick up a few little things that people submitted. So I did pin a comment on there where I asked people, hey, what was their favorite piece of gear that they got? So Marky Brune went all in with the Universal Audio amps.
Okay. The pedals?
Allegia, hang on, Miniassel 7859 got an Eventide H90. The BMG Ariel for Adam NME01. There was Von Dragon Noggin. Got an Axiom FX Power Amp emulator and a UAFX Lion. I really want to try that UAFX Lion. The other John Brown, the aerodynamic John Brown, got the Liclam Audio King in Yellow. And shout out to Daniel, who does amazing stuff there in Germany. John had a really good suggestion. I did a video about, Christmas gifts to get guitarists, and he was like, get him an SM57. You can never have too many.
That's a good gift. It's a very good gift.
Yeah, because my suggestion was a capo, and specifically a G7th.
Yeah,
you always
gift.
want
lose them
more
too.
than one of those. Yeah. Joshua Simonson got a Fractal FM3 Mark II Turbo and a pink Taco from Freeburn, which is cool. Michael Toran, coolest features in and out was a Hook Wizard, and the best vibe was Tim Pierce's Diesel VH4. Always pretty good. And friend of the podcast, Bob Guido, TC2290 pedal. Agree hard there. So yeah, there were a few people who really got into that. And there was Emu Sandwich left a comment, Troy. He said, your dodgy quiet cable sounds like the signal is shorting on the conductive sleeve that instrument cables often have. The inner conductor will have the normal insulator around it. Basically just strip it and give it a few mil, mate.
I did read that comment. I don't think that's the problem. I'm going to check it though. I did, yeah. So I read it. I was thinking about how I sold it, but I know the inner conductor he's talking about, and I didn't notice it on the cable. So yeah, I'll check that though. And if he's
can never be too sure.
Correct. What do you spend on a Christmas present? Because the thing is, a 57, like they're not that cheap anymore. That like they cost close to $200. Like I reckon, Uncle Leon, if I buy you a gift, it'll be maximum $50.
Like let's just agree not to get each other gifts and just eat meat instead,
mate. I might give you some chocolates. I'll give you some chocolates.
Mutual assured meat destruction.
Yeah. I went to
$50 is generous, and I feel like for us, a lot of the time you just get your mate something stupid.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you're buying. The video I did was more like, hey, if it's for your significant other, $80, $100, I guess you go up to $200.
Yeah.
Depending on what you like, depending on how you do, the madness that is Christmas shopping.
Yep. Now, I went to Big W a few weeks ago and...
Did ya?
Yeah, and I just loaded up the trolley with boxes of chocolates, like different ones. And Amy was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you getting all these chocolates? Who are they going to be for? I was like,
giving gifts,
just
bro.
wait. You just wait. And then it's like, oh, what are we going to get the ladies at daycare? Well, hey.
Chockies.
What about a box of Chockies? How's that sound? Oh, what about our neighbor? Oh, box of Chockies? Where did this come from? So I
like the idea of having a bunch of things, like being prepared, and it's just like, need a gift for this. Oh, yeah, here you go.
Like you're talking about $15, $20 maybe for a decent box of you get a Lindt chocolate.
Yeah, that's a bloody good box of Chockies as well.
No
mate.
one's going to be. Yeah, you don't. You just want to be appreciative of someone that you that you like. So I think that's a great idea. And look, Easter's just around the corner. I'll just have this Christmas chocolate for Easter. That's fine.
Exactly.
I've got a lot of birthdays at the start of next year. That you can just have a box of chocolates. Everybody's happy. So anyway,
exactly.
But yeah, what was the other thing? Oh, I'll respond to one other comment about my mic being quiet. So we are recording individually today. There's been a few different changes to how we've done the process over the last night. Oh, when did we start this? Feb? March? Sometime around there. So recording it again. I might just strap a compressor onto this vocal mic, a hardware one, seeing as I've got a distressor that barely gets used. So I may as well put a $2,000 compressor on my vocal mic. You know what I'll do? I'll run it through one of my expensive mic preamps. I've got an
Make
EQ
it a very
in there.
expensive voiceover.
Why not? Let's just do it. Speaking of which, so, I messaged you because Jason's got his live stream happening as we're doing this
There you go.
Which was really great, and I watched a little bit of it. Lyle Caldwell, what a voice. Oh,
the greatest voice in guitar YouTube.
Like rich creamery butter, Leon.
Sonorous. It is truly sonorous. It is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so I was listening to that even through I went and got a coffee, this one, as I sipped from, just before we started, and I forgot my headphones today, so I'm just holding the phone up to my ear like this, listening. I was like, oh, God, even through the iPhone speaker, what a voice that man has. So that was a good live stream, though. I'll have to pick back up. A couple of, Jason's on there, Santiago's on there. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Some gear podcast luminaries, as you might say.
That's right. But anyway, Uncle Leon, let me ask you a question. You want to talk about this topic today?
Are you ready to rock? Is that the question?
I would like to talk about 2024. It's the future. It's not too far away. Weeks away, as a matter of fact. And I've already got some things on the shopping list that maybe are too expensive for Santa Claus to bring me. But things that I'm excited for, holes in the collection that
maybe you can buy yourself in 2024. That's
right. So, that's what I want to talk about today. Stuff that we're looking forward to picking up in the very near future. I'm just going to kick it off because I'm going to
handball the footy straight to you, mate, and you can go for a run down the wing.
That's not how you catch it.
Yeah.
Corner to take a chest mark and then drop it like Jack Darling. Anyway, moving on. I need an Explorer.
Yeah, you do.
I don't want one. I need one. And
yeah, you do.
And I don't know what's happened, but you know the For You page on Instagram? Is it For You or the Explore, whatever it's called? I'm always scrolling through there, and I've seen some white Explorers come up recently, like the James Hetfield style.
Yep.
And it's really just got me just really thinking about an Explorer. And for the Dockers games as well, I think that's a good shape. We might have talked about this already on the pod, I can't remember.
Definitely.
But it's a good shape for that gig. I'm a big man, so holding an Explorer looks comfortable. But yeah, the
Mate,
white
you're a big
one,
man, and when you're on campus, you have an Explorer.
That's right. So I'm looking forward to that. But I've been looking through a couple of options because that Epiphone Prophecy, I think is it the Prophecy, the purpley one with Fishman's in it. That looks really cool, and
nice.
Not too expensive, not cheap, but not expensive. So that might be sort of on the agenda. But I've been looking at some other variations because I know you've got a Hamer Explorer. And I can see it in the background there, and that's a really cool guitar. So shorts boys,
because it's summer.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is my Hamer Standard. Yep. Everyone knows that. I was playing this yesterday, actually. Again, because it's such a cool shape, you look at it and go, I want to play that guitar.
Yep.
It's awesome. The thickness on this thing is...
And that's Carina?
Yes. So did you know, Troy, that the species of timber is actually African limber, and this goldy kind of finish they call Carina. So...
Oh, okay.
I'm sure some expert in the comments can let us know about that. But for now,
I never learned that. I've played that song a bunch of times too. I just I just play the chords. I'm so lazy.
Yeah. I was just teaching it to someone, so you'd think I know it a little bit better. I'm just going to hold on to this guitar while we talk about Explorers.
Well, there you go. We'll answer that question. How comfortable is it just to hold it like that? When you're playing, if you're playing it for like longer than about 10 minutes, are you going over the right knee or are you sitting like that, like in the middle?
Oh, I always left knee it. So
left knee it, okay.
It's kind of moot point, but I find it's particularly comfortable if you're a fret hand side leg rester.
Right. See,
for anyone who plays guitar the correct way is their left leg.
Mate, I'm a righty. I'm always about the righty. Whenever I play lefty, it doesn't feel correct. But also, when I gig, I like to have my guitar not with the neck pointing up. I like to play flat or even like angled down a tiny bit. It's kind of strange. And I find when I play, okay, so when I was like 5, right, and learning guitar, had a book, like one of those kids' guitar books, and I very, very distinctly remember this. It was, there's guitars all the way over there. I got headphones on, so I won't go grab it. But there was a little picture, and it was when you're learning to play, you play it really flat like that. And then as you get slightly more advanced, you tilt the guitar up that way. And then when you're like really advanced, it's about 45-degree angle and you play like that. And I've just never found that comfortable. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I like to just have my guitar hanging kind of medium to low. And yeah, like doing solos and stuff, I kind of like to almost tilt my body that way and play down to the ground. I don't know why that's comfortable to me. But anyway, so to go back, I remember foundational video that I watched, which was the Incubus Morning View Sessions DVD. I had that in I got that in 2003. Yeah. But I think it was that, and I saw Mike Einzinger, the guitar player, playing Drive, like the acoustic song, like that, like you're holding it left knee. And I never played guitar like that before. I'd always done that. And then I was like, oh, well, if Mike Einzinger does it, I better change, you know?
Right.
But I still don't really find it that comfortable. I'm just a bit of a play to the side, point the headstock at the audience. That feels right to me. But anyway, if you were to play that right knee, because I remember like years ago trying a Destroyer for the first time. This was like before I'd even played an Explorer. And I was kind of like...
pretty comfy.
I just found like my right arm on the big like fin on the back was a bit
It's a bit
weird.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit...
Troy, Explorer, when you play like that, feels like if a normal guitar you're used to like, you know, your hands are here. Mm-hmm. For anyone listening to the podcast, I'm holding my hands out at like shoulder width.
Ready to take a mark.
Ready to just clunk it. If you move that 20 centimeters to the right, that's what playing an Explorer feels like. Like the bridge feels a lot closer to you, right? A Firebird's the opposite. It feels like it's out here at all times.
Firebirds are weird, man. Like I've played yours a bit and I'm not super into that, I don't think. But I don't know, man. I think I just need one for the collection because this is the journey that I'm on. I have to fill all the holes. I didn't have a 335 till this time last year, and now I've got one of those. So I might add an Explorer this year. Maybe next year it'll be an SG. Maybe I need to just slowly go through and get every model of Gibson. And yeah, so to get back though, I want it. Looking at this Prophecy, that looks really cool. But Manny's in Perth has a white Explorer at the moment, and it's a B stock one, so it's about $600 off retail, and it's still a lot of money, but. I don't know. If I could sell that Acoustasonic I've got, or maybe they do a trade-in.
Yeah.
It might be
the old albatross around the neck Acoustasonic.
Yeah, that would be sort of that might be the guy. So anyway, I was actually thinking about going in there this morning, and after I bought my prime rib, and just trying that guitar out because otherwise I might be thinking about it like all week. But there's no rush.
Oh, I see the one. Yep, yeah, I see the one.
Man, a white Explorer. And do you know why? Apart from the Instagram For You page, you know what else happened? Motherfucking friend of the show, Angus Clark, man.
His video on his guitars he's using for TSO.
Oh, but he's got so many pictures of him playing it. And it
looks sick.
It looks so good. I'm going to look at it right now. Oh, my God. Black pick guard as well. What a man.
Troy, why don't you drag it in for the people? Because we can do that.
Wait, can I do that off my phone?
I'll just hold it up to the screen then.
Oh, hang on. Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
Look at that.
I went past him. There he is. Yeah.
He's killing it on tour. Well. Look at that.
A bit of reflection there. Oh, my God.
Go and follow Angus. Great dude. Great player.
Anyway, I've been thinking about that for the last couple of weeks. That's been on my list. So, but I'll tell you, I'll give you one more sidestep guitar because the list is never ending, mate.
Never ending.
And I've got it's long and ever winding, but if to be completely honest with you, I've got two other guitars that I really want to get in the near future. I don't need any of these guitars. I don't want to sell any of these guitars. It's an issue. I did a played guitar on this track a couple of days ago, which, you know, as I mentioned before, and the guitar sounds I got were great. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I really think it was a song that required a Jazzmaster.
Yeah, right.
And that's something I don't have access to at the moment. So I think...
A jangly dangly.
Yeah, there's a couple of holes that... Like, I don't have a 12-string as well. That's not on the immediate list. But I really need to get some of these guitars rather than just go buy more pointy ones. But, man, the pointy ones look really cool. But, yeah, the Jazzmaster, it's a very specific sound. And for something that's kind of a bit punky, a bit indie rockish, you just can't really get away with it with the things that I have at the moment, which is still great. You get like what I'm talking about. You can absolutely get away with it. But yeah, that with some fuzz pedals and stuff, I think that'd be really cool. The other
That's
guitar,
a bit of a vibe.
the other guitar that's on the list is I really like those Charvel Telecasters. So
Yeah, man.
anyway, so many guitars.
I feel like
so
for
little
you,
time.
that'll just be a guitar that one day you're just going to be in a shop and you're like, I'm doing it. I'm pulling
Probably.
the trigger.
Yep.
You know, the Explorer to me feels more like it's going to be a bit of a Troy Odyssey. You're going to find the right one. You're going to play a bunch of them. You know, it won't be such a, I mean, because I guess they're more expensive as well, right? But it won't be such an impulse.
Well,
Because those Charvels, you know, they're in the like, again, we spoke about last time, like what's the maximum amount of money you would kind of spend on guitar gear without thinking about it, and it's about 1,500 Australian dollars.
Yep.
If it's something you really want, which is like under $1,000 US dollars, it's like, if you got it, you'd just be like, okay, pull the trigger. And yeah, those Charvels are around that price, which there's a gold, I think they call it Aztec gold, and it's, you know, 2 humbuckers, it's gold, super strat, it's got like a nice dark ebony board. And it's like $1,300, and it's a hardtail, Strat hardtail bridge. It's been so hard not to buy it the last 6 months. It just keeps popping up and taunting me.
is a Charvel, you said?
Yes.
I'll be honest, I'm not as into the ebony boards on those guitars, the ones that I've played.
More maple.
The maple ones feel really great. The ebony ones, yeah, they don't really feel. Yeah, maybe I just don't like ebony though. That's fair enough. Like, well,
Yeah, here it is. Derringer's Music, $1,319 Australian dollars.
Man, that's Derringers have this.
How bad could it be?
They have that Prophecy there as well for $1,600, which is a couple $100 cheaper than everywhere else.
Yeah.
So-
Like, what are they doing that no one else is? Yeah, they look smooth. They look very, very tidy. But again, not something I need, but it might happen. Do they have locking tuners as well?
Yeah, mine does. I think
I mean, come
I
on.
think it does. Yeah.
Game over.
What I was going to say about that Explorer is like, so for example, this white one, if I go to Manny's and I play it, I'm like, that feels pretty good. And I can do a trade. If I can get a deal on it and it's not going to cost me the thing, like sometimes I will just go for the thing that is like, you know, path of least resistance. I'm probably not going to get something of this value again for the same sort of price. Like it's, okay, so that 335 that I got, the reason I specifically have that guitar is because someone offered to trade it to me for doing their album. Now, arguably, the amount of work that's gone into doing this album has, in fact, outweighed the cost of the guitar.
Yeah.
But also, I like this person, and I like the music, so it's completely okay. Not a problem at all with the
And
value.
also, sometimes they may not be prepared to pay for the full thing. So if they can be like, here's a thing that you want, it's barter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's trade goods for services.
I've thought about that in other situations, but I don't want to get into too much of a thing with the stuff I do of being like, because I've had other people come in with amps or guitars, and I've been like, man, that's a nice guitar. I'd like that guitar.
Yeah.
But then if you start setting too much of a precedent with that, or in my opinion, particularly if it's a single, right? If I do a single and it costs to produce the same amount as like a nice guitar, then it's like, well, all this work, all these hours, all this stress, and all I have to show for it is this one guitar, and my children don't have food in their mouths. Like, that doesn't really feel that responsible. So I want to be careful with it. I don't want to completely ignore the possibility if it's something really cool. But
if anyone's got a white Gibson Explorer, they want to trade to Troy for a single, then just line up, right?
yeah, probably think about it. It's like an actual Gibson one too. Like I don't have I've got 2 Gibson guitars. I've got my Les Paul and I've got my 335. So yeah, it'd be nice to add another one. And yeah, the collection will grow. The collection's always growing. By the time
They
I'm
seem
like,
to be doing good stuff
Gibson,
at the moment, yeah.
because you never know, man. I haven't. Oh no, I've played a few modern Gibsons that have been okay. Even through their rubbish era, though, there'd be a couple that have come in. Like clients have had the guitars and they've been okay. It just really depends. It really, really depends. So, like with everything, and I guess it's kind of like Fender now. Like anecdotally, then maybe not in their prime period. Is that fair? Or
Yeah,
I like my
right.
Mexi ones.
Yeah.
Like, the Mexi ones have been great, but
Man,
I don't know.
amazing. Have you seen those Aerodyne ones that are basically like, they're made in Japan, they're basically Charvels?
yeah, I've seen them. They've been around for years though, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they put out some new thing recently. I saw them on clearance. So
Right.
yeah. I'm going to weigh in here, Troy, and you want an Explorer.
Hey, mate, handball.
Peter Matera on the wing, 1992. He's taking a bounce. He's picking up a PRS CE24. He's loving it. I think that's. Look, if I buy if I spend a bunch of money on a guitar next year, then that will probably be it.
The CE24.
Yeah, I've got the Swamp Ash CE here at the moment. I'm really, really liking it. Like, I don't love where the middle pickup is, just for how I play.
Yep.
That's the one thing about it where I'm like, oh, I'm bumping this a lot. But if you're used to playing super strats, which I'm not really, then it's not so much of an issue. But yeah, the fit and finish on that is great. And the fact it's a bolt-on and it's a maple neck and it's sort of like, I'm into this in like a big way. And again, John Brown, friend of the channel, I know he's got a CE24. Anytime.
Oh, you want a 24, not a 22? Has to be 24?
They don't make the 22s anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
CE24.
Roman would be upset by that, right?
Ed Roman would be very upset.
He's shaking
he's
shaking his fist like this.
he's down there in Satan's basement shaking his fist up at us.
We should do an episode about that one time, about the replacing all the parts on a vintage guitar, like the Ship of Theseus type of a situation. Be a good episode.
Gosh. The website's still up, man. I actually think is the store still going? Like a family member's
must be. I don't know.
Running it?
Just quickly for context, for those of you that don't understand, like, because Ed Roman, guitar shop in Vegas, I think, and died, a decade and a bit ago. But he had a big thing about the pickup placement of the neck pickup on PRSs, where he thought in 24 fret guitars, it pushed the pickup too close to the bridge and put it in a weird position. It was something to do with, like, it was picking up too much of harmonic or something specific.
His thing that there's a harmonic, natural harmonic at the 24th fret and nodes and antinodes and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But the website, you just would end up on it, and this is like peak, 2006 to 2010 internet. You just go on his website and read these incredible rants on stuff. And there's still a section on the website called rants. What is a rant? In red text, bold, brash, politically, and sometimes even grammatically incorrect. And it's, without getting too political on this podcast, which we don't like to do, it's very much the way he talks would fit very much into modern political discourse with a lot of stuff where everyone's a dumbass except him, and he's the only one who can, kind of show you the way. But yeah, the PRS heel, he would go on about.
That's
like,
right,
when they move to the factory, but I'll fix it, And it's like the general Ed Roman rant is, here's a modern production guitar that used to be the best thing since sliced bread. Then they changed the thing. And I reckon it's really dumb. And you know what? My luthiers in my shop can correct that issue. But why would you do that when you can buy the guitars that I make that are better in every single way to this? And, it's worst design I've ever seen in my life kind of thing. And they were just legendary rants, he in the true sense of a rant, like not always coherent and not always correct, but darn entertaining.
Yeah. Just quickly as well, was he all about the broken headstocks on Les Pauls?
Let's see if there's a rant about what do we got? Broken Gibsons. This is great. Oh man, Les Paul necks are all prone to easy breakage. I know I'm fighting a losing battle. I'm one guy standing in a hard wind. The magazines and the large corporations are all standing upwind. They're upwind, taking a leak. It's like, it's very funny. But I feel like.
But did he have the thing where he was deliberately breaking the necks on Les Pauls and fixing them because they would be stronger and sound better? Or was that something else?
Are you tired of broken neck bullshit? Buy an abstract Maximus, Troy.
Oh, okay.
What is plan? Yeah. Oh man, it's wild, absolutely wild. And then he would like publish letters from people who wrote to him. Leslie West's broken headstock. So yeah, I don't know the full Ed Roman story. A family friend bought a guitar off him and said he was like very good to deal with, like
Right.
shipping stuff internationally. And
Well, you know what, man? Just to piggyback on that, because I was watching like Joe Bonamassa buying a guitar from Norms. It came up the other day. But it was like they were just loving each other, which is fine.
Yeah.
But Joe said something about like, Ed, every sale that's ever happened at this shop for the last 30 years, Ed's been like dealt with it. And I was like, Norm's dealt, not Ed. Norm's dealt with it. And I was like,
Ed would claim he'd actually dealt with it.
Yeah. But Norm was like, when we went to that shop in 2012, sure enough, he was there behind the counter. He sold you 2 guitars. He was sick, gave us free t-shirts. Like, what a legend. That's really, really nice.
Businessmen like that are rarer and rarer. When I listen to people our parents' age talk about, getting good deals or like, being a client of a store that they were into, and you hear about those kind of people, they just don't exist anymore because our generation, we are spoilt little scumbags who are just like, no, I'm the most important thing.
Yep.
You go to like Norm's and, he wants your business. You want to buy something there. He sorts you out.
Yep.
Like he gave me a deal on those guitars and, he wasn't trying to be my mate. He wasn't trying to like bullshit me. It was like, yeah, we can do something. Let's do it. And we got it done. And then, Sylvester Stallone's brother goes in and buys a guitar. The next, have you seen that one?
No, I don't think so.
It's pretty great. He's like trying to...
Sorry.
No, maybe... I forget if it's Sylvester Stallone buying a guitar for his brother or Frank buying a guitar for Sly, but it's...
Right.
There's some energy happening,
Have you seen the guy from Crazy Town doing Butterfly in there?
Yeah.
What's that guy's
That
name?
was
Shifty
great.
or Shifty something. Oh man, it's the craziest stage I've ever seen.
I feel like we've hit peak podcast now that we're talking about
come my
Crazy
lady,
Town.
come my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby.
Sugar,
People want
baby.
to hear you rap, Uncle Leon, from the comments of the last
Shifty
one.
Shell Shock.
Shifty Shell Shock.
There you go. What a great name.
Yeah. But anyway,
man,
there's like some guitar shops in Perth, some places. There's still some great guitar shops around, but there's one that I used to go to a little bit years ago, where no matter when you went in, like they just sort of help you out a little bit, and it was just enough to like go, cool, I like this shop. Just you probably jacked the price up 20% more than it should have been anyway. That's fine. Let's just do the dance. Say the dance, do the dance. Come on, everybody. If you do the dance, it's a Wiggle song, Uncle Leon. So you jack it up 20% and then you discount it 20% for me when I come in. Sweet. I left really happy. Then they stopped doing that. And I was like, man, just everything's really expensive now. And no one seems to know what they're doing. So I don't really go there anymore. So it's a shame.
There is no worse feeling. There must be no worse feeling when you're in like music retail where it's like, hey, bro, we can't do that anymore, because
I don't want to
we're not a family-owned business and, there's other people calling the shots. But, yeah, like at least Norms, there's most of the things in there I can't afford, but the things I could, at least, they're like the margin they're getting on like a $50,000 vintage guitar is making up for the fact that they can give me $200 off a bass, So that's kind of cool. I like that. But yeah, CE24, after finally spending some time with a bolt-on neck PRS, I get it. And I think that will be... Look, I still really want to get a hollow body at some point.
How many
I
have
should
you
try
got
one
now?
of the SE hollow bodies. How many PRS-y?
5?
7?
7.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's... So...
Hang on. Wait. Let me do it.
You name them.
Okay. Custom 24 green, custom 24 blue, McCarty, single cut, mirror.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
DGT and the SE DGT. Is that it?
Yep. Correct.
7.
Yep.
Okay. I know
So,
Leo's
yeah,
guitars, everybody. I've spent a
knows
lot
it
of
better
time with
than
the
I
guy.
do. Exactly.
He had so many. You know what's funny, Uncle Leon? When we met in December 2000. Oh man, anniversary's coming up.
Hey, it's anniversary's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 2006 around the 27th. I think roughly.
Was it
December.
before or after Christmas?
I thought it was after Christmas. Maybe it was before Christmas. No,
I reckon it might have been before.
You reckon?
I reckon
It was
maybe the
17th.
22nd or the 23rd.
I reckon,
On
I
17th.
reckon it might have been the 17th. Hang on. I'll tell you what, because it was a Friday night. No, it was a Saturday night. All right, I'm gonna look right now.
The Rock, or was it the Bog at the time?
It was the Bog. Hey, can I go to years here? Yeah, here we go. 23. I'm going to go
for
all
reference,
the way back.
I remember this well because I walked into the venue and Troy like popped out. He's like, "You must be Leon. I'm Troy. Let me buy you a drink." And before I could even introduce myself to Cam, I said, "Oh, I appreciate that, but I don't drink." And Cam looked at me and went, "Oh, like Gene Simmons."
Okay, Leon. 2006. It was the Saturdays. It was either the 16th or the 23rd. So we're right there, man. Like we're right at the 17-year anniversary.
It's right in there.
Yeah, but anyway,
the 17th anniversary show.
Well, I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah. So when we met, you had so many guitars because Bill's got so many guitars, and then there was a period where like every time we'd catch up, you'd have something else that was really cool, and then you went through a real guitar buying phase too. So like I remember when you got well, that one right there, right? You got that in
2008, 2009 was
and your McCarty as well,
buying stuff. Yep.
So there was a few of those guitars, and then but you really like stopped. Like properly stopped for a long time buying guitars.
Scaled it back, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just got into like pedals and other things. Not that I stopped buying stuff. It was just in like different things. But yeah, this I got in 2008. The McCarty I got in 2009. And then my single cut I bought in 2014. Yep. That was the one that like I really kind of stopped buying new guitars. But I've kind of cranked it up again this year. I've had a few. How many? Yeah, I mean, I've been sent some stuff for review and things like that. That few acoustics, and yeah, there's been some stuff. It's kind of bulging and ballooning again. I have sold a little bit of stuff as well, but yeah, CE24 would be. That feels like something that would, again, just a guitar I can gig with. That's really all I want out of these things. That or. Again, speaking about the Charvel thing, I'll pivot towards, that's about it for guitars. But, after playing your Marshall, I just have this desire to get an 800 now. And I'm on the fence about, do I find like, a good one, a vertical input pre-1985, or do I just get Jason at Headfirst to make me one? Because who knows more about Marshalls? Not many people. And if I just said, make me a 2204 or a 2203, I know it would be spec.
Right. Uncle
and probably
Leon,
better.
If you're serious, I know where there is one. I know where there's a broken one.
Oh, really?
Yep. And it may be for sale. So I can inquire on your behalf, or I can...
Please.
All right. I'll let you know. I've thought about this with Jason as well, because I was like, maybe I'll just buy this amp and then see if Jace can fix it and maybe do some stuff to it. But I think it's a 2203. I'm fairly certain it's a 2203. Yeah. So I'll inquire. I'll inquire about it for you. And it may not be for sale.
I feel like I know who owns this amp as well. So
it may not be for sale, or it may not be for sale for a reasonable price, but I'll ask for you. Then at least we'll know.
That'd be awesome. Because I just feel like, I'm back into that sound in a big way after playing yours and learning more about the amps and the history and things like that. So, yeah, that'd be cool. And, man, so I've got a TC1210 here that I'm borrowing at the moment, and that's very hard not to just say, hey, you're not getting this back. Just send me an invoice. But, I spent a lot of time yesterday because we've got an old SCF. Here it is. Look at this thing with the attached power cord. Have you tried this?
No.
I should bring it over. It's great. It's a very good chorus.
We should first week, just unrelated, first week of January, we should do some like actual. We'll hang out, like we'll properly hang out, and
I'll just bring a bunch of stuff.
Yep, we'll have sleepovers. Come to the studio. You can sleep on the couch.
Yeah, studio sleepover.
Yeah,
exactly. That'll be comfortable for all involved.
I'll come sleep at your place. Elspeth can she can sleep on the couch at my house.
Yeah, there you go. She can find her own way home. For anyone who knows,
Leon and I have absolutely slept in the same bed before, so it wouldn't be anything new.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing strange about that. Boys on holiday.
Yep. Boys on tour.
What was I going to say? Yeah, Old Marshall, that's definitely on the to acquire list. Yeah. Anyway, I spent a bunch of time with this 1210 and like got it very, very close with the axe. So I think I'm like, I don't need this thing, but I just kind of want it because it's cool and it's got buttons and it would look great in the rack. And there's one or two rack pieces still that actually I had a guy message me saying he's got a tri-chorus. So hopefully he can borrow that and give it a rip. But man, you know what's holding up? Shit. I believe so, yeah. So that's kind of exciting. And what else? Yeah, there's a few... there's a few things which I have no insider information about, but I can speculate. Like, Soldano Astro, what else are they going to do? Mm-hmm. What else are they going to put that tech into? Like, are we going to get, a diesel or like a Bogner with IR loading and what other, what would be sick would be a Synergy Sin 2 with the IR loading. That would make a lot of sense. Incredible. Actually, did you see the Soldano? I saw there were some photos posted. The X88.
Yeah. There's
an X88 IR.
Oh, like as in that's coming out.
Let me find it. I saw it posted somewhere on the internet, and how I can't find it.
Here's a question for you, mate. So, just in general, right? Like this, and everything that I buy, right? I pay cash for it. I work and I save some money, or I take some. It's all money. I own it straight out, right? I'm pretty sure you do the same. You ever just thought about like putting stuff on credit? Just maybe getting a couple of bucks in the bank, just being like, fuck it. Here is just some shit. I'm just going to be that guy. Just fucking lets the future Troy or future Leon deal with it.
I'd probably sooner get life insurance than do that. But, it's, look, obviously in a very privileged position to not have to do that. But it's probably very bad financial advice and practice to be buying luxury items on credit.
Surely really, that's what everyone else is doing, though.
I mean, certainly they do. And hey, no, absolutely no judgment. Like,
no, I know.
I was just lucky to be born in Australia, right? Yep. So, and there's a lot of nice things about that. And I mean, coffee and amps are expensive, but they're also good.
Prime rib.
So yeah, that's actually never crossed my mind to do that. So,
man, I've been lucky like this with the studio too. I've bought everything I have. Like, have we talked about like the stuff that we got from Seb, like the Mesa Boogie and all? Have we told that story before?
I feel like we've hinted at it, but
maybe we'll do it another time.
We should do that as a standalone episode. But
well, I guess my point is like we've been really lucky just to even like deals, right? Like that was something that like you talk about our parents' generation, like Bill. Man, when we met and you told me about some of the stuff.
Master of the deal.
Yeah, Bill got stuff and I've seen him do his thing. Like he just is like that. But we kind of caught the tail end of that, man, and we've been really like super lucky to get some stuff that we wanted for pretty reasonable prices. But I feel like I just don't see the possibility of that around anymore. Like it's just it's a shame, man. Like it's a real shame. Maybe when I'm old and grey, I'll let all this stuff go for stupid prices just to like pass it on a little bit. But that's gonna be hopefully a few years in the future. But anyway, I guess like that's negated the just get a credit card and I max it out and pay it off over time. But I mean,
there's some people who would say, do it as long as you kind of actually pay it. I'm just going to drop something in the chat, Troy, that you can bring up and share with anyone who is watching this on the internet. And be sure to subscribe and like the channel and tell your mates about the Gear Podcast. But what about you? Like Explorer? Like that's numero uno at the moment. What other bits and pieces?
I've only got one. I do have two screens at the moment. Hang on, mate. Here we go. I've moved everything around. I'll talk about that in a second as well. Actually, let me just work out. So hang on. Present.
There you
share
go.
screen. Here we go.
Tech in progress.
Chrome
aside
tab.
from that, I feel like probably like studio stuff. I want to build some more pedal boards.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of my goal for 2022 is have more of my pedals accessible. Yeah, so check this out. This was posted on the... can you zoom in on that at all?
Possibly.
And shout out to Fraser as well, because I know he's someone who watches the channel and is a big rack fan. I've met before and has some amazing gear.
Oh,
Mate, that is totally fine.
Oh, there we go.
So look at that. This was posted, Soldano Legacy Amp Owners Group.
This is all I care about. I want to see the back of something.
Yep.
It's my favorite thing.
So what do they have on there, mate? Send and return.
Yep.
So
USB
stereo
out.
loop, USB out, probably for the editor and the IRs, MIDI, balanced outs, main outs.
Ooh.
Very nice.
And also, it looks to me, that guy right there looks like a 9-volt input, so presumably these are 7-pin MIDIs.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
I would guess. So that's kind of useful, if you, depending on the sort of pedal
What's
board
going on the left there?
Power on off.
Sorry, on the front panel. Probably like IR selection and bright caps and
Oh, wait, this
all
left?
sorts of doodads.
Oh, this
On
one.
the front panel of the unit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit too difficult to see, unfortunately. I think it's too... Oh, yeah, even on the...
Looks like it's got a headphone out, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Sorry, you were talking about pedal boards. So you want to make some more pedal boards?
Yeah, I've just got like so much stuff that I actually like. And I've got a little studio board on a Temple board that I like. And then I've got a bunch of drives mounted on a NuX pedal board. Then I've got like another NuX board, which has the POG and the microsynth and the... what's it called? The Way Huge Atreides, like the weird pedals, and then a bunch of mod pedals on there. So I kind of like that, but, you know, it'd be cool to have some sort of themed pedal boards and have some of my Boss pedals on boards and just kind of ready to go with power supplies and, you know.
Yeah. Do you need to buy a bunch of power supplies for that?
Probably, yeah. So trying to figure out what is and what isn't the go.
Can I stop you? Can I go on a slight tangent for a second?
Yeah, dog.
All right. It's all related. But, you know, I built that pedal board and then isolation transformer solved the problem. That's where we left it. As a matter of fact, I found the actual root cause of the problem. And the root cause of the noise was the Strymon Zoomer power supply.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shame.
And I worked that out by... I mean, I put the ISO transformer in line. That got rid of the noise, so that was cool. I ordered a Palmer one. I can't remember what model it was, but it's a Whopper, I think, WPPER.
Right.
And that took it like a week and a half, 2 weeks to get here. Ordered that, popped it on there, did nothing. Like, actually did not work whatsoever.
Oh,
so,
no.
Thankfully, and this person was waiting for their board as well. I feel really bad about it. I still had that Morley one, the Morley Hum Eliminator. That worked, but the Palmer didn't. So I ended up mounting the Morley under the board, and it's all cool. It all works. However, you know, it's as I was going through testing stuff, I didn't actually. The only thing I didn't try of everything else, I didn't try using a different power supply for the HX Stomp. I just used the Zoomer, knowing that.
Okay.
But I also tried it with for those of you that don't know, like Line 6 pedals, you can run them on different power supplies than the one that's provided in the box.
You just got to...
Yeah, you have to either use like a voltage doubler. Not voltage. Current doubler.
Yes.
And you also need to get a phase reverse cable, and I think the jack polarity reverse cable, and then the jack's also different sizes. There's a few adapters required, but it works. What I also discovered was the Zoom. It said on the internet, everyone was like, get the current doubler to use the pedal. Actually, wasn't necessary. There was enough, like on my True Tone power supply that I use on my main pedal board. I just have a single cable that comes out into the HX Stomp to power it.
Yeah,
because it's not like per output is 500 milliamps or whatever. The entire power supply is like whatever the output current is, and yeah, it's like. It's not limited, I guess, to the current per output. It's just like the total of the board. So anyway, the HX Stomp worked on just one, which was cool. The underside of this board was a Zoomer and an Ojai. So I tried the current doubler. I tried it without the current doubler. I tried into the Ojai. I tried into the Zoomer. I tried like every combination, and it was all like buzzy and noisy. So that was no good. I tried my pedal board. Like I just unplugged the power and plugged it into the HX Stomp that was on this board, and the noise disappeared completely. So I said, okay, I'm pretty sure that's the problem. I didn't have access to the original HX Stomp power supply at the time because I'd given it back to the owner. And when they gave me the board back, they didn't give me the power supply. So I said, I'd fix the problem. Like, you know, I said to them, I think it's the zoomer. Like, I'm 100% certain it's the zoomer. That is the problem and nothing else. Mounted the Morley under there to eliminate the noise, but if it was just a better power supply or a more appropriate power supply, better to just sort it out at the source rather than deal with the problem.
Yep.
Anyway, I said, just bring your HX power supply when you come, and I just want to plug that in and see what happens and see if the noise is still there or not. There's also a bit of just general hiss like that came out as soon as the HX stomp was in line. And
interesting.
That happened regardless of what power supply I used. But yeah, plugging the HX stomp, like the actual power supply for the unit outside of the zoomers and the true tone and stuff, that was completely silent. So in terms of the noise, that was solvable, the grounding sort of high frequency oscillation bullshit or whatever that was. So that was a bummer, but yeah, the owner's taken the board now. It's all working as far as I'm aware, and I think she's happy. So that hopefully is the end of that chapter. We'll see. But yeah, pedal boards for you, man. I'm like all about these rock boards because they're really light. They're neat.
They pop up relatively cheaply as well.
Yeah, you can get them really cheap. And they're all like super different sizes. You can also get the mod boards too. Sorry, the mod patch bays for them. And do you know what else is really cool, man? In fact, I have one right here. So the side of the 4.1 and probably the 3.1. So they've got these like holes drilled in there for lights, right? So if you want, you can have like a full lighting thing that like light up your pedal board. But they've also got these little single input things so that fit in that slot. And this is like $20 I got this for. So it kind of like sits in like underneath the board in the very side. So this could be the input signal to your board, and then that feeds through the pedals. So if like it's pretty nerdy, but it's like it just neatens stuff up. I've got one installed in my studio board here because some of the first pedal that I had in the chain, which where is it? It's over there somewhere. It's got a top mounted jack, which is really annoying. Like I can't actually plug it into the first pedal, so that's just going to neaten stuff up. So anyway,
those little things do make life slightly better and neater, and especially playing live. You know, it keeps stuff going where you want it and nowhere else.
Yep.
The other thing I was going to say, I'm thinking what I'm going to do is actually just have a couple of different boards. I do have some stuff coming from Palmer, which is I'll be really keen to try out because they also do pedal boards and power supplies and a bunch of fun stuff. But yeah, I might try grab a secondhand rock board and then a bigger Temple audio board because I've got a bunch of stuff with the Temple mounting plates on it. And just it's nice to have all this stuff kind of. I keep the boards that I've got, like I keep in bags and mounted on the shelf I've got back there. So when I want to pull them out, it's like, there it is. They're not always around taking up space, but it is nice just to be like, oh, cool. Yeah. I want to use the POG, pull it off. I can use the microsynth and the other thing as well. And if I want to put some modulation on it, you know, it's just there and I can muck around with it, and it's instantly gratifying. And I mean, it's so crazy to think, man, you know, when we started playing, having a pedal board wasn't really something you did. You might have a Boss BCB if you were super nerdy.
Yeah.
But that was like, you just show up with a couple of pedals in a bag and like, oh yeah, you put your Boss SD one in your tuner and you just patch them together, and you might have, you know, if you were really fancy, you would have a daisy chain, you know, from a wall wart. And then if you weren't, you just use batteries, or you'd, you know, have separate power supplies for everything. I remember when I started gigging, obviously I had a rack. So I had the 88 MC1 out the front. I didn't have to put up with any of that garbage.
Yep.
But yeah, it was just sort of like, a couple of pedals on the floor and patch them in, and, you know.
Oh, you know what you could do?
That's what you do.
You know what you could do, right? Just throw it out there. You can pick it up, or you can leave it on the ground. You still got that rack there, mate?
Which one?
Oh, like there's a 12 or a 16 there. Like,
yes,
you could just like mount them in trays, like.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty cool.
It's all ready to go. I mean, it's not as like take outable, but you could also do it. So like, I'll see if I can lift this up without.
Well, I've got the switchblade as well, so I could patch everything in and just.
Yeah, like imagine
instant
this.
access, right?
Let me just see if I can wheel this over, and so this guy right here is. This is a Rockboard 4.1, right?
Yep.
And that is slightly less than 19 inches wide, like the 19 inch rack thing.
That's what we want.
So it's a bit high. Like that's probably with the Mobius on top there, that's probably like 3.5 rack units high. But hypothetically, you could have that on a shelf and just like the entire board, just slide it in and out. And you could have like 3 of them with whatever things you wanted. Power supply mounted underneath. But if you put, so here's the, I said that little patch bay thing, like this guy mounted into the side of the board. So you could have that, or you could have a rock board, the mod thing on the back of it with the inputs and outputs. And then each one of those could just be connected to your switchblade. So that way they're all interchangeable. If you really wanted to get nerdy about it,
really wanted to go nerdy and do that.
Like, I love that. That's my favorite thing in the world. So, yeah, shorts boys. Anyway,
shorts boys.
So yeah, man, I like it. That's
one project. There's always guitars to fix that have been, that have had issues come up over the year with electronics and that need setups and things like that. So that'd be another thing as well. It's like, again, looking after the stuff. Man, I got in touch with Graham, Amptech.
Oh, did ya? I was talking about him the other day.
He's still kicking, man. He's still going. Awesome. And yeah, it was nice to, I just sort of, for reference, I've been taking my amps to an older gentleman who lives kind of equidistant between myself and Troy, and he's an telecom engineer, and he does really, really good work on amps and, builds tube radios for fun, and he's always looked after me. Great guy, so much knowledge,
Yep.
And I just hadn't heard from him for a few years, and the last I had emailed him, he was sort of like, oh, yeah, went to the doctor and, I have some thing in my kidneys that doesn't look good. And I was like, oh, man, I really, I hope Graham's still alive. And I sent him an email last week. And, he got back to me immediately and was like, yeah, still going, still in the same place, having a good time. It's getting harder to move all these heavy amps around. But so, yeah, I should pop in and see him and just kind of say, hey, and, I really appreciate all the stuff he's kind of done modding some of my amps and servicing them, and I might get the deluxe serviced actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because still got the original tubes, and I went down a bit of a rabbit hole last week where people were like, oh, those groove tubes are absolute hot garbage, and that's the first thing you should change. And now it's in my head, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, that sort of thing you could do yourself. Oh wait, are they power?
Yeah,
they're preamp tubes, right? Or power tubes?
I think everything.
All right.
Yeah, so it probably needs to be biased, and it's probably a good idea to give it a bit of a tune-up and make sure there's no simmering issues or things like that.
People also say you should change that speaker out, but I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. I don't think it sounds that bad.
I'll put a greenback in, bro, just so it can sound more like a Marshall.
Yeah. No, that's good. He did a couple of my amps. Like, he was cool. I really liked him. I tried to get in touch with him. Well, you know this. I tried to get in touch with him about a year and a bit ago to do my PV, my 5150, but I just didn't hear back from him. So I'm glad he's still around, man. He was cool. But yeah, so back on topic, I'm just talking about myself anyway. Who cares?
Exactly.
Speaking of which, you like when I drop into your live streams, just fucking talk shit at you the whole time?
Love it. It's kind of like, I can just do stuff and I know people are engaged.
Yep. And anyway, so yeah, for me, next on the list, so amps, mate. What do you think? What do you reckon? What should I do?
What's missing from your collection, mate? It's hard to say.
It
is hard to say.
Because I had this moment as I was, I don't know, I think I was just about to jump in the shower and just read something, you read something and it gets you thinking. I was just like, man, I need to fill the collection out. There's a few things missing. There's a few things that I guess you have I have to buy stuff if it's cheap. So, we mentioned the VHT that's up for sale at the moment. That's kind of still there.
Yeah.
And I'm still considering it. That's just past the limit of spend the money, you don't think about it. I certainly couldn't do that and then go buy an Explorer. You know what I mean? I've got to I've been a bit careful about the money I have. I'm trying just to not actually be completely frivolous and throw stuff away. Anyway, that sort of thing's cool. But I really think I probably should just bite the bullet, and if I'm going to spend some bucks on an amp, it probably should just be an Alta, realistically.
I think you should, because we know it will go to use and it's got the sound, right?
Yeah, it's it's pretty much top of the list. Outside of that, the only thing I really want is, and I've never had one, is an actual Friedman, like a BE or something like that.
Yeah.
Or even one of the smaller ones, like a Pink Taco or something. They sound so good. And it's something like those ones are a little bit different to some of the other amps I have. So,
but you do have the Jake E. Lee mod on your Marshall, so
I do have that one.
You know,
but yeah, some of like the Pink Tacos and the Little Sisters or whatever those ones are, like those seem really cool. And I could probably gig with them as well. So it's hard. Like I don't really. That's a. I've got to really want one of those amps to drop the bucks on it. Those ones.
Imagine the Alta though with the MIDI switching in your switching rig. You know, like that'd be.
And I'd hook it up to the Stream Deck, and it would all just be me just hitting the button and then changing sounds, and it'd be glorious.
That's one thing actually I should get for the studio here is a Stream Deck. So for my live streams, I can just punch buttons and have it do stuff.
They're not. They actually come up secondhand on Marketplace a bit, man. Like you get one for $150. Yeah, $100 maybe.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I need to get the bigger one because I've got the 15 button. I probably need the 32 button to be honest.
Yep.
Oh mate, well there you go. You can just fucking take the 15 or buy the 32.
Here we go. Exactly. You sell me that 15, and the money can go towards you getting the big dog. Yep. See, we're just solving problems.
Yep. There's been the amount of stuff that I've sold you over the last few years, Mac Minis and iLocks, and yeah.
I'm just downstream of the source, mate. So
I've got your Dig and I had your Big Sky. You know, it goes both ways, I suppose. But in terms of amps, like I think those are the top of the pile at the moment. Although I'd also really like something Fendery, and I'm still keeping if there's a Princeton or a Deluxe or something like that comes up not too expensive, then I'd consider it. But I'm pretty spoiled, you know, like it's not like I'm missing anything at the moment.
Exactly. This is like a bunch of we're at the completionist stage, aren't we?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. Because like once you get everything you want, then you find other stuff that you don't have. You know, it's a stupid fucking hobby to have, man. I don't think he'll watch this, but if he does, like, sorry for ruining it. But my nephew in Adelaide, I bought him magic cards for Christmas. So
nice.
He's 11, so I think he'll get into it. I think it's the sort of thing he'll dig. But it's like that's the thing where there's always new stuff coming out. You know, you can play the game, but there's also always cool cards and like different packs. Like you just never stop. So maybe that's a terrible thing, and I shouldn't get him into these sort of hobbies, but. Alas.
Oh, mate, you know, that's what life's all about, though. These fun, you know, the hobbies are where the true magic is at, really.
Yeah.
And, you know, guitar as a hobby is a great thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you weren't doing it for work, you'd still do it as a hobby, and it would still be equally enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know?
So
maybe it'd be more enjoyable because it would be tethered to your sense of having to make income.
Maybe, maybe I'd have a real job and I could afford to just buy the shit for funsies. That'd be cool. Instead of having a fake job like I do now.
I feel like I've exhausted. I know there'll be stuff as well that comes out that I'll just be like, oh my God, that's absolutely sick. So I feel like 2023 was the best year in gear ever, the stuff that came out. So I'll be really curious to see what new thing, you know, in 6 months or 9 months, 12 months when we're having this conversation about how 2024 was or how 2024 is going, what's going to come out that will be kind of surprising, or if it will be more, you know, some years it's like you kind of know what's going to come based on, I feel like this year some really cool stuff came out, but it'll be like a consolidation thing where, again, that like Soldano preamp, like what else are boutique amps going to do? What new products are Line 6 and Fractal and everyone else going to kind of put out?
If boutique's putting out that Soldano, surely Synergy's going to have something to.
There has to be.
That's pretty much written in the cards, right?
There has to be. And again, I say this as someone who's like, I've demoed their stuff, and you know, often when they put stuff out, I'm on the list to demo things, but I have no involvement outside of that. I never know what's coming. So this is pure speculation. Pure speculation. I'm not involved. I'm not like leaking stuff here. It's just, it feels like that's what they should do, right?
Yep. Yeah, outside of all that stuff though, man, I mean, just quickly before we wrap him all up, I'm going to, studio-wise, I'm going to get a new computer very soon.
Oh, yeah. What are you going to get?
The Mac Studio, but just trying to work out how much money I'm going to spend. So it's just tough. And had they not, if they didn't charge you so much money to get a slightly bigger hard drive, I would have had one right now. But the hard drive I need, which is minimum 2 terabytes, is it's very expensive. So anyway, but that's on the list. This whole, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the camera's in a different position because I've taken my Ravens off, like, you know, my touchscreens, because I wasn't really using them. Yep. So I'm trying to get rid of the desk. I'm trying to get rid of the touchscreens. No one wants to buy them. That's fine. They're just going to end up sitting in a pile for a bit. But I'm going to get myself a little sit-standery do, mate. So kind of like Uncle Leon.
Join the club.
Because is yours 80 centimeters deep? Is it deep?
Probably.
It's a deep boy. Yeah. 120 by 80.
Oh, it's not that deep. I think I might have got the slightly shallower one.
Okay.
But it's great, man. It's like, it's everything I want in a desk, which is like, I can put a few things on it and then that's it. You know, it works.
Yeah. Well, that's on my list. So I just need to get over the rest of this year. I've finished a few tracks. I've got a bunch of stuff for next year that's already in the diary. So yeah. It's just to upgrade a computer. Like, for me, have I got Pro Tools open? I do, because I've been recording, but I can't show you the plugin list. But man, I've got so much stuff. I've got so much like software to reinstall. It's a job. Like, it's a week-long process basically to get it all set up. So I was hoping to have it. That's a process. I was hoping to have made the decision already and have the computer sitting there for the first week of January, so I can like spend that week like playing guitar while I'm installing software. I mean, it's not too late to do that, but it's just I haven't like pulled the trigger on that. But yeah, I just you know, like, for years and years when you saw a studio that was just a computer screen on a desk, I was like, that's shit. Yeah. I can't have that. And then I had effectively that, but it was all built in as its own like unit thing, and that's cool. But now it's like, man, I just want a computer screen on a desk. Everything else is in the bloody computer. It's like, it's fine. I don't.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's like, you know, I can do everything I need on a desk with like an Axe FX here. That's basically what I do. Everything else is kind of gravy on top of that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to reflect on this and just be like, oh, but look at how much stuff you ended up buying and acquiring anyway. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of some things. That's the mood I'm in. That's what I'm feeling right now. But I imagine I'll be in a totally different place in a year because, you know, that's how stuff goes. I mean, think about when we started the pod near the start of the year, right? It was like, you know, what you were interested in versus like what you're really into now. I think the last thing I'll say is like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised this year if I get like, you know, some more mics and just fun stuff to record cabinets and things like that with, because like an SM57 on a cab is cool for demos, but also having some other options to just be like, well, yeah, I'm recording, you know, I want to demo a Fender style amp, so maybe I'll do it with
an M160.
Like, yeah, an M160 or what were you talking about? The
AA?
Yeah.
R84, yeah.
Something different, something fun.
Yeah,
it's always good.
It's so fucked, man. As soon as you step slightly outside of guitars to like capturing it, it's so much more expensive for like you could what you could augment your sound with a like pedal, maybe for like $100 or something, $200, and like it's all coming up secondhand, nice and cheap. Like outside of like the standard few options of an SM57 or I don't know, a Sennheiser 609 or whatever. If you want like cool stuff and unique stuff and different stuff, you're looking upwards of $1,000 more, $2,000. It's just like, it's a lot of money, man. Like, I'm lucky to have spent 15, 16 years collecting that, where I don't really have the hankering desire for microphones anymore. There's a bit of other studio stuff I want, like a few more mic preamps, and I might actually drop. Yeah, there's a few things. On my list is a 8-channel mic preamp of some description. I'm thinking about that SSL one that just came out. I'm going to just rejigger some stuff in my studio, but we'll see. Like studios, I think like the hoarder in me is keeping like amps. There's nothing that I want to sell, which is a shame because there's a lot more amps that I want. Guitars. I don't want to sell any of the guitars. I can't. There's literally none of them. Out of 33 guitars, I'm not looking at any going like, I probably don't need that one. Or like the only ones that do are like fucking like a $50 snakeskin BC Rich. Like, who cares? Like, it's not going to mean anything. So anyway, like with the studio stuff though, I could probably like sell an 1176 and be like, well, that's fine. Like I'm not using it.
Yeah.
Big whoop, you know? So yeah, I think with that stuff, I'm pretty set. I'd like to get some new speakers too, but you know, these ones are already quite expensive. And if I go up any further, it'd be 15 grand or something. And I certainly don't have that sort of bucks to shell around it on a whim. So credit.
Yeah,
Awesome.
well, on that note, Troy, let's wrap it, mate. That's the last podcast for the year. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in this year. Let us know what pieces of gear you're looking forward to in 2024, and enjoy your Christmas. Have a ripper-dipper time, and be good to one another. Enjoy the break.
Yep, happy days. All right, thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, we'll see you in 2024. Peace.
In the words of Ozzy Osbourne, we love you all.
Thank you, public.